Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the street night races in Singapore. It's Monday night, it's Formula 6 in PSGL, and tonight, joining you from the commentary box, it's Salim Haddad alongside me, Danny Quinn, welcoming you. Good evening, Danny. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. First race this season that I'm commentating. Of course, I wasn't here in the last race at Spain because I was quite severely ill, but I'm back for Singapore. So, yeah, it's really good to be here.
Nice
Really
to have
good
you
to
back.
be, yeah, good to be back in F6 and with yourself, Salim.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I was having a small chit chat with you before the stream started, and we were talking about having another Red Bull domination this season. What are your thoughts on the topic? Are you a fan of this?
Um, well, it's like Ted Kravitz said in a video I've seen online that the regulations were changed to, well, technically stop the Mercedes domination, make it more closer. And in turn, yeah, Mercedes stop being dominant, but in come Red Bull with their own wave of dominance. Albeit the midfield has got a lot closer. Like there are more teams fighting for the lower points. But yeah, judging by the first race of the season, it's going to be another season of Red Bull dominance.
Unless something happens to them, which
Yeah.
oh, look at the Ferrari of Piro drifting around in his first lap. Well, of course, we wouldn't want anything bad to happen. We don't wish any harm to any of the teams, but we want to have a good competition, not a monopoly or a domination.
Yeah, we don't want that. And just speaking on the first race, how good did Alonso look? He just bringing back the old times of Fernando Alonso, just storming through the field. Of course, having that first lap contact with his teammate, which he didn't find out until after the race. There was actually Lance that hit him.
He wanted to report him.
Well, yeah, just on board with its pyro at the moment, just going still through sector 2 through where the Singapore sling chicane used to be all that time ago, one of the most dangerous corners ever on a F1 calendar. And we see through that quite tricky bridge section, which is very easy to get the corner wrong, but it's looking fairly strong for Pyro at the moment. So, yeah, going through sector 3 now is very tricky to get this right. If you make one mistake, you've ruined the whole sector pretty much. But it looks like he's got it all hooked up through here. Coming through to the penultimate corner. Look, took that very clean. Well, technically, here's the penultimate corner, and here's the last one. And here's the 36.8 as a first lap from Pyro. Quite a solid banker.
Oh, Pepine gets a 136.5, 3/10 of a second faster, and Fusion at 136.9. So, you know something that the street circuits are a lot different from the regular race circuits. They say that some people are decent at street circuits. We remember Sebastian Vettel was one of those people.
Yeah, I remember that Sebastian Vettel lap where he got pole by sitting in the pits. I remember that lap. He was very, very good at street circuits, especially around here at Singapore.
You know, it feels as if street circuits are made of something specific that some people enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd definitely say so. Some people would just, it feels like when you see someone, you're just like, they're naturally talented. Like, you'd say Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull, he was just, at Monaco, he was a different beast. And he eventually got his win at Monaco, and we see the famous video of him,
The swimming
well,
pool.
belly flopping into the ball.
As Tom just got a 136.1, and that is currently the fastest lap of this qualifying session. And we were speaking about the street circuits. Well, personally, I'm not very competitive on Formula One games. I'm faster in Gran Turismo because GT3 cars suit my driving style more. However, in Formula One games, I tend to be faster on street circuits rather than regular circuits, racing circuits. I find it easier to
Yeah,
take the corners.
well, for me personally, I dislike street circuits. I I just cannot get to grips with them, especially being on controller as well. Street circuits are just that little bit harder. Yeah, we've got most of the grid putting in their first lap times. Of course, we do have Tybe, Evil, Makalitsi, Trust Run not putting in the times as of yet, and I do believe that was Ishake who had just put in a time of a 37.0. So P10 for him is not a bad lap at all. So we've just got 10.5 minutes left. And yeah, everyone's just coming into the pits, maybe coming out for their second lap. I believe there's Makalitsi is just coming out to do his first lap. So yeah, quite a spread of times at the moment. Judging by representative lap times, we have FVR Tom at a 36.1, down to Slow Salt in 14th with a 37.3. That's 1.2 seconds. So if the whole grid can be separated by a time similar to that, then it'll be quite good. It'll be quite a very close grid.
Singapore reminds me of one race that I commentated in Formula 4 last year. And it was one of the best races I have ever seen. Talking about the change of events, it was raining, then the track got dry, then it rained again, then it got dry again. It's crazy. It's a crazy scenario, as if you were watching a movie. And strategies are gonna be a key thing in Singapore.
Yeah, they definitely are. The strategy, if you can get it right, if you can pick just at the right moment, you could see yourself undercut like 5 or 6 drivers. Like in a race that I did yesterday, I started the race in P19, and by the time it went to dries, I was in P6. Well, because everyone else ahead of me had pitted for a second set of inters, I stayed out on the first one, and it lasted until the dry came.
And speaking of the rain, I can hear as if it's raining outside right now, right in where I live.
Yeah. We do have yellows in Sector 2, but I believe there's SJM just slowing down, letting cars pass, so no incidents in the qualifying so far. I'm just going to go back on board with GL Marlon. So I believe he's just going to be starting a lap. So the next person to be crossing the line to set a time. Oh, Wooly! Round the first corner, spun, and he took out Ishake, who was just coming out of the pits. Doesn't look like there's any damage on Ishake's car, but yeah, that's not what you want to see.
So Wooey was playing Fall Guys on Formula One and crashed into another driver. So, ladies and gents, 7 minutes to go, and it's Tom who is still leading with a 136.1. Again, ladies and gents, let us know in the chats who are you supporting tonight? What are your thoughts, expectations on this race, and where are you watching from? And we would love to read that out for you.
Yeah, at the moment it looks like Pepine and actually the Red Bulls of Leo and Evil are looking like the best team at the moment, sitting in second and fourth, as the two ET8 drivers are currently occupying the second row of the grid, albeit they're on different teams. There's yellows in Sector 3, I think that is
Mr. Michael.
Chris. Yeah. So he obviously had a mistake, but he's going to cross the line. Might have been better off going into the pits there, actually. There's Christian, which crosses the line with a 36.4, but then Pepine goes immediately ahead of him into third position with a 36.3.
And Christian is gonna find himself now in a traffic. Wow.
FVR Tom into the 35s by 0.004 of a second. And then Aiden puts in a 36.2. So it's going to be a big push to see if anyone can catch Tom.
The track looks busy at the moment right now. 5 minutes to go. Tom leading with a 135.9. I'm curious to see what the other drivers are going to be doing. Jarno had a decent race last week until he crashed in turn 3. And we have Trust Run, a very familiar name from last season. Doesn't have to be scoring the fastest lap at the moment. At 144, slightly off pace this run. Maybe he's not really trusting his runs.
Let's see what he did there. Well, yeah, it's just coming up to the final, corner, technically 2 corners. And it's a 37.1 into 12th position. A good 9 tenths behind his teammate, GSP Payne. Of course, both of them racing in F6 last season. And really starting to see the gap in the teammates. It's almost like, no. I was going to say it's almost like the Mercedes so far, but it's not that much of a gap. Not that much of a gap in real life.
3 minutes to go now. And the track is a bit clear. We've got only 4 drivers. Slow Salt is one of them, returning to the pits.
Yeah, Payne's in the pits as well.
So we got Mendes of the Williams. We remember a lot of heroic overtakes on the streets of Singapore. Felipe Massa did one, I remember. He avoided crashing into his compatriot, Nelson Piquet.
Yeah, the classic Massa overtake at the bridge hairpin.
And one of my favorite Singapore memories was the 2019 Grand Prix that was won by Sebastian Vettel. And him celebrating by holding the steering wheel and the fireworks in the background. That was a very good looking wallpaper.
We've got a whole bunch of cars coming out of the pits now. See a whole queue of 4 cars, and we see a massive amount of cars actually coming out of the pits now. So getting into the last moments, Trust Run.
has retired.
Not sure what's happened there. Ah, he must have... Did he crash in the pit lane?
I think he retired from the session. Are you able to crash in the pit lane?
I think he can crash in the entrance. But not actually as you're going into like the pit box. Yeah, the first person to actually be on a flyer is Pyro. So if you want to take us through his lap.
Who? Ah, Pyro. It's Pyro. Oh, he's gonna have traffic ahead of him. 6th gear, 7th gear, goes down to 4th gear. And he's gonna have traffic. That's the Alpine in front of him, slowing him down, and that's his lap ruined. And I can tell he's having a lot of bad words in his mind right now.
Hopefully he's got enough fuel in his car to go for a second lap. Because he's not that far away from the line.
He's recharging his ERS again. You know, you hate these things. You hate these things when you're on a flyer. You're doing your best. You are pushing every single millisecond. You're milking it so that a slow driver ruins your day.
Yeah, this is the problem with going out of sync with everyone else. If you're on a flyer and they're on... Yeah, if you're on a flyer and they're on their outlap, you're gonna eventually catch them, and then something like that will happen. But Pyro is actually gonna be the last person to cross the line, I think, after being the first. So, it might work out well for him.
And this is why you need to be critical on when you leave the pits. This is what engineers usually do. Strategy engineers. Time is almost up, ladies and gents. And it's Tom with the provisional pole position at 135.9. Is anyone going to be able to ruin his day today?
I'm just on board with Evil now. He was about 2.5 tenths up in the second sector. Let's see what time he can put on the board. It's a 26.1. So just under a tenth, or just over a tenth.
2 tenths.
We have, Ishake puts himself P10. Then we have, I believe that was Chris putting himself in P9, knocking Ishake out of the top 10. A second Red Bull stays in 5th. Then we have the Mercedes of Pain puts himself in P2. Aiden quickly takes over. And he's the second driver into the 135s. And then we have current pole man, and he's staying pole at the moment with a 135.953.
He extends.
We have Pepine coming through. Actually, there's McLaren, I think. That may have been Jarno. He didn't improve.
In 12th place.
Pepine puts himself in P2. 9 thousandths of a second faster than Aiden. And then we have Mendez putting himself into P9, and SJM, I do believe this is an in-lap for him. So qualifying is done. So the actual gap from first to last was 2 seconds. Just over 2 seconds from Tom to Michelizzi. But the actual gap of representative times was a 1.3 second gap from Tom to SJM.
This is a proof. This is a proof that street circuits are not everyone's best.
Oh yeah, definitely. Street circuits, definitely not everyone's cup of tea. But we're seeing most of the grid actually in the 136s. I believe that is how many drivers? Is 4th down to 15th. So 11 drivers, I believe. So yeah, if you want to take us through the top 10.
So, ladies and gents, it's the Australian Tom who's going to be starting on pole position with a 135.9 in second place. Pepine from Belgium, third. Aiden, followed by GSP Payne. And Evil in fifth place, a returning name. Leo in sixth, followed by Fusion. In eighth, we have Christian, then Mendez, and Chris in 10th place. Outside of the top 10, can you please take us through?
Yeah, so we have Tybe in 11th, then Yano in 12th, Ishake in 13th, Mullen in 14th, Pyro in 15th, Trusher in 16th, Wooly 17th, Slow Soul 18th, SJM 19th, and Mikalitsi in P20.
There is a thing between Finnish people and motorsports. In whether it be Formula One, WRC, it's like a personal relationship.
Mm.
And ladies and gents, we are now preparing for the start of this night race in the streets of Singapore, so don't go anywhere. Clock is ticking. And the race is going to be starting soon. So, this is a sentence that I always say. Now you've got enough time to run to the kitchen and grab yourselves your favorite snacks and drinks, because after that, we are going to be racing.
We're going to be in for the long run here in Singapore. It looks like it's going to be a dry start as there's 5 red lights. And we are underway here in the lights of Singapore. Looking at the start from Tom, it looks solid, but Pepine makes the move down the inside and overtakes Tom to take P1 in the first corner, of course. The race isn't won in the first corner, so expect Tom to be right back onto him as that is Tybe who's gone round.
You spin me
and
around.
And there's already
like
a virtual safety car. Yeah, virtual safety car here in Singapore after the first couple corners. But luckily that means Tybe isn't completely out of it. So yeah, great start from Pepine there. Sees him overtake the pole man FVR Tom. And by the looks of it, Marlon has had a great start, going up 4 positions already into P10. And looking at the tyre choices of everyone so far, everyone's on the hards.
It's like me when I wait. Never mind. So, ladies and gents, it's Pepine leading the race now. 7/10 of a second behind Tom, followed by Aiden, JSP Payne, and Evil for the top 5 drivers. We've got a full course yellow now, virtual safety car, but I don't really think it's worth it. And the flags go green once again, and the cars go vroom, 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 and we resume racing. These drivers are very close to each other, and overtaking is usually very difficult on street circuits. So it's going to be very difficult, except if you use the RS, which is not going to be in the next 3 laps.
Yeah, I think this track is certainly an exception to that, because you definitely see more overtakes here than at a track like Monaco. You definitely see more overtakes here than Monaco.
Well, Monaco is a very tight circuit. Driving an F1 in Monaco is like me driving a bicycle in my living room.
Or driving a road car around a karting track.
Yeah, as well. Mendes went to the pits, changed to his mediums, and changed his front wing as well. The Portuguese driver.
Yeah, Tybe as well is in the pits changing to the mediums. So they're going to be out of sync with everyone. Maybe later on in the race they're going to be going back to the hard tyre. That's a strategy you could definitely see.
Well, you can always expect safety cars on a track like Singapore, so they will be betting on that. as Pepine still leading their race. 7 tenths behind, still Tom, the pole sitter. 1/10 of the second is separating Chris from Leo. It's now down to 3/10. And the DRS is going to be enabled this lap.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see. It's a checkerboard in from 5th to 8th.
Oh!
It looks like Jarno.
Jarno Lujen just lost his front wing. But he's lucky that it's right in front of the pit entry.
Yeah. If it had happened halfway around the track, then you gotta think he would struggle.
Yeah, he would lose a lot of time. So for the viewers who are not very technical, if you break your front wing, your car is gonna understeer, which is gonna make you a lot slow around corners. And it's gonna make you suffer as well.
It would basically be like driving a road car.
Yep. With no aerodynamics. Wooly is chasing Trustron. 3/10 separating the two drivers. The two returning drivers from season 32 in Formula 6. And now Wooly is going to be receiving DRS. He's approaching Trustron. But it's not a very long straight.
Yeah, I've just been on board with Pepine this whole time, and he's been putting in really solid, consistent laps. And apart from that mistake at the last corner, he's been going really well. And it looks like Tom and himself, Pepine, are actually starting to pull away from Aiden. So it's looking like it could be a two-car fight for the race win here in the early stages.
And don't forget that we might be expecting rain.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility here in Singapore, as we saw in real life last season. As we see Leo actually get past Fusion here. It's a very solid lap, but now Leo's got to try and make it. Oh, Fusion. Doesn't look like he's got any front wing damage, but that was definitely a big contact with the wall there.
Well, I wish girls would kiss me the way Fusion kissed the wall.
Oh, aggressively. But yeah, Fusion is starting to struggle now. Maybe he does have slight wing damage, and he's actually letting his teammate Chris past.
Take a look at
So
Shaik.
a bit of team play.
Oh no! Shaik enabled the DRS, and he was going side by side next to the Haas driver. He touched him, and he overtook him. Not sure this is a clean move, and now he's overtaking Pyro. Wow.
Yeah, definitely think Fusion does have some front wing damage as he's coming into the pits. Now, it looked like he was severely understeering, even though there's no... Oh, Jarno. Jarno is out of the session, and that is a full safety car.
Full course yellow, so 2 races in a row. Jarno. Poor guy. Very unlucky.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see many people pit under this safety car, although Fusion was in the pit lane before the safety car came out. So, a little advantage being taken there from Fusion, as he's going to come out ahead of Mendes and Tybe, who are just... Oh, Mendes has actually gone into the pits again. Maybe he's fitting the hards.
Hards or softs? Is he crazy enough to pick the softs? The hards.
Yeah, he's going back onto the hards they started on. So they're going to be 3 laps fresher than everyone else on the hards. So it could be a bold strategy here, but will they actually take him to the end? I'm not too sure about that.
Well, it seems that Christmas came early for him. Well, you would be talking about 25 laps on the hards without really pushing, so I don't know.
Yeah. Or when the safety car comes in, it will probably be 22, 23 laps of full-on racing. So it could be doable. Could definitely be doable for Mendes. And Pepine just fakes it into the pit lane. Not sure he caught anyone out with that.
Reminds me of Kimi Raikkonen in the USA. Austin.
So yeah, just coming up to the safety car now.
Marlon. What is
There's
happening?
Marlon.
Going to the pits?
He's into the pits, yeah.
A double stack pit stop.
Michelizzi as well.
A double stack pit stop for the Haas.
Michelizzi's going to be losing all the time. And it's a front wing change for Marlon, so he's going to be losing even more time.
You're going to have to wait, sir. What do you want? An espresso? A hamburger? Looks like a McDonald's drive-thru.
Yeah, he's going to be changing onto the medium tyres, is Michelizzi. And he might actually get overtaken here by Tybe, and he does.
But at least
So not the best strategy call there from the Haas drivers.
But at least it's under the safety car, so
yeah,
the time lost is gonna be neglected.
Yeah, Gunter's not gonna be happy with that.
He's gonna smash a door.
Yes. Reliving K-Mag.
He's looking like a bunch of wankers right now.
Yeah, they want to be looking like rock stars, but that's not the case at the moment.
I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on Drive to Survive? Do you enjoy this series?
I think it's good for anyone who is new to F1, someone who hasn't really seen a race before, because it's almost like taking a deeper dive into like what actually happens behind the scenes in F1. But for anyone who's like been watching F1 for quite a long time, you can see like the last season there was all of like the fake like storylines that
the drama.
Lando and Daniel didn't get along. That was the main one. But yeah, if you're new to F1, it's really good to see the ins and outs of F1. But if you've been watching it a long time, it's not the best.
And you know what I hate the most about this series?
What's that?
A name called Will Buxton.
Oh, yeah.
Who speaks as a Sherlock Holmes detective.
Yeah.
Like every 60 seconds pass around the paddock, 1 minute passes. Like he hits you with the most random, obvious facts.
If you finish the race in first, you win.
Yeah, exactly. And he says it with a straight face. Like, how can you say it in a straight face? I would burst from laughter if I say anything like that.
But then it's like going back to what I said. It's sort of catering to the new audience, who might not know, well, they better know that if you finish a race in first, or just looking at, that was ETA Evil, who dropped all the way back. He's just been hit in the back. Not sure who that was by. Oh.
And I saw a flying part.
Was that Slow Salt? Yeah, it was. Slow Salt hit the back of ETA Evil.
Oops.
And he's missing his front right end plate, so it's not good for Slow Salt, because it might actually be coming in this lap if Mendes can get to the back. And just looking at the penalty situation, just GSP Payne at the moment with a penalty is 3 seconds, so that is track limits for Payne. And yeah, it's going to be really bad for Slow Salt because the safety car is coming in.
The safety car will be in this lap, which means the second that Pepine crosses the starting line, the flags are gonna turn green and the cars are gonna go vroom, vroom, vroom again. And Pepine is gonna make sure to exploit the race resume, and he floors it, crossing the starting line.
That's evil going into the pit lane. And Slow Salt as well.
Woody making
Yeah,
up a
front
move.
wing change for Evil. It's going to be a front wing change for Slow Salt as well. Yeah, Pepine with a dream restart, nearly breaking that 1 second margin already. So it looks like he got his hard tyres fired up.
Round the inside line, Christian goes side by side next to the Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo has the inside. Oh, nicely defended by Christian of the McLaren.
Yeah, it looks for the switch, but a little bit of contact there, but nothing major, and this has brought Pyro into it as well. There was a little bit of a gap there, but he didn't choose. Maybe we see a Massa-esque move from Pyro. Nearly hits into the back of his shake. And Pepine has actually broken that 1 second margin on Tom. So when DRS is enabled once again, Tom will not be getting that advantage. Although I say that is very close. It's on the edge, and it looks like I'm not too sure whether he has it or not at the moment. He's chopping and changing.
Fusion was able to overtake Trust Run and moves up to 11th place.
Yeah, with Fusion being on the medium tyre, he's going to have a big advantage because he's got half the life of these hard runners, but the hards are really going to be starting, well, to come into their own around about this stage. They're going to be into the optimal working range right about now.
I'm currently on board with Ishak. Using the ERS, is going to go to the side of Christian of the McLaren. Round the outside, he's gonna go. Oh. Christian pushes him. He still has the upper hand.
Once again.
Takes the inside line.
The same corner.
Christian defending like a lion.
Yeah, the same corner as they were battling before. Ishak has a good run, but he's not going to be able to make the move. It looks like Mendes is getting a move done on Marlon Mendes. Obviously, well, of course, starting safety car back in last. He's already up into P14. So good recovery drive so far here from GTZ Mendes. It looks like Tybe is actually running low on ERS already, and this is a track notorious for being very difficult to recover ERS. So he's going to be in a world of pain unless there's another safety car which comes out. And historically, there's most likely going to be another one. It looks like there's actually Fusion who's going really slow, and he holds up Trust Run, maybe putting him into the path of Tybe. But that doesn't look like it's going to be the case, as Tybe nearly goes into the back of Trust Run and has to go on to, or go off the circuit to keep his car from going into the back of him.
Well, this man, Tybe, has definitely not played Minecraft before.
Oh, Ishak! Round the inside, and he goes and sticks the move on Christian. This has been coming for his straight. The last 2 laps, he's been right on the back of Christian. Finally gets the move done, and he's pulling away now.
Oh my goodness! Time into the wall! I was just talking about this man. I was saying that he definitely didn't play Minecraft because Minecraft teaches you about resource management. And he did not manage his ERS properly. He made contact with the Mercedes of Trustron and he ended up in the wall. But lucky love, he is still alive in this race. We are on the 10th lap of the race. It's Pepine who is leading, 7/10 of a second behind Tom, followed by Adon, 2.2 seconds behind. Outside of the top three, Payne in 4th place, followed by Leo. Oh! No! No way! GSP Payne just made a mistake. How can you make a mistake like this? Into the wall. He lost his front wing. And he's going to the pits. And he... Oh.
Oh.
No way.
Yeah, that's him done. He's retired in the pit lane. That's Tybe as well.
That's an example of rage quit. Well, understandable, but you need to be patient.
Yeah, it's never over until the checkered flag falls.
As Will Buxton says.
The race finishes when the checkered flag comes out. And that is Pyro's gone round. And he's broke his front wing.
Full course
he's
yellow.
Completely lost it. Yeah, that's going to be another safety car. You see, if they had just stayed out, if they had just kept on going, the safety car would have brought them right back into it.
Well, you cannot always predict, but you need to take risks.
So they had 10 laps on the hards. All this is doing is extending the hard runners' stints, and you have to say, Mendes is in a great position here. Being on 3-lap fresher tyres than everyone else on the hards, he's going to be able to go even longer. He might even be able to get to the end if his tyre wear is good enough. And that's Trust run into the pits. Marlon and Pyro into the pits as well. So 20, well, when the safety car comes in, it's probably going to be 17 laps left. And Pyro, of course, he has to make the wing change and he's putting on the mediums. Same with Trust Run and Marlon and SJM.
So, small summary. It's Pepine who is leading the race, followed by Tom, Adon, Leo, and Chris outside the top 5. Ishak, followed by Christian, the only surviving McLaren driver. Wooly, Fusion, and Mendes. Outside the top 10, we have Evil, Trustron, Slow Salt, Mikulitsi, SJM in 15th place, followed by Marlon. And it's Pyro. Last but not least at the moment.
We might see a repeat of yesterday's F1 Grand Prix. We've already got one Ferrari out, and we've got one McLaren. It's not looking good for Christian.
Well, except that it needs to be won by a Red Bull.
Well, I mean, Leo is in 4th, and we do have Aston Martin in 5th.
We are almost halfway through the race. This is the 12th lap out of 31 laps. We are still behind the safety car. Well, while the safety car might be boring for the viewers, it's a very good opportunity for the drivers to regroup, to change their strategies, to take a small break or a small breath, deep breath from the sprint of the race.
Yeah, out of just quick question, out of all of out of the safety cars, who do you think has benefited most from the safety car study?
From this safety car? Hmm, good question. I would I would assume Trust Run. Or no. Not in terms of strategies. I would say probably Tom and Adon because it brought Pepine closer to them.
Yeah, I'd say I'd say Mendes has benefited really well from this. Being on 3 lap fresher hards than all of the other hard runners, his tyres are gonna be much fresher, and being so close to Fusion, he's gonna find himself in a good position if he can get these tyres to the end of the race.
That's a good observation. And the safety car is going to be in this lap, which means that the second that Pepine crosses the finish line, the flags are going to go green. And we are going to be resuming racing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he takes the same approach to ending this, to restarting this one as he did last time, because in the last safety car, he went just at the final corner, so maybe he might leave it a bit later or go early. Who knows? It isn't that long of a pit straight, so you don't have to leave it until the last moment. And he's going about the same time. Oh, no. False start. There we go. It's gone about the same time as the last one. Marlon has been overtaken by Pyro, but gets that position back. And it doesn't look like it's that good of a restart, as he got last time on Tom. Because around this time it was about 9 tenths. Now it's halved at 4.5. So maybe Tom had his tyres in a better condition than Pepine this time round.
Take a look at Chris. He's only 1/10 of the second.
Ooh. Mendes and Evil fighting, battling for 10th position. Looks like Evil has won this battle for now. May have won the battle, but the war is still going on here. Between a Red Bull and the Williams driver, as he's getting close to the back of his esports teammate Fusion. And it's all contact between the two. Not what you want to see. No damage as it seems for either driver.
What an overtaking
And that's
move.
Trust Run. Trust Run and Mendes going side by side. Still going side by side. Trust Run late on the brakes and he gets the move done.
A bit of contact between the Mercedes and the Williams of Mendes. But Trust Run managed to get the 11th place from him.
Yeah, and that's Fusion, who's going slow. Not sure what happened there.
And Trust Run overtakes Evil and jumps to 9th place. Mendes with an excellent exit, trying to overtake Fusion as well. Fusion around the inside line.
These two.
The Red Bull. What is the Red Bull of Evil doing? What is Evil? Evil is evil.
Oh. Michelizzi takes advantage of Mendes' mistake.
Fusion was squeezed into the wall. from Red Bull.
Oh, Mendes goes for a half dive there on Michelizzi, nearly making contact with him. This is great. This is great racing. Fighting for the last points position halfway through this race. Hopefully this can stick all the way through as Marlon gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings as he goes for a half-height attempt on a dive on Mendes, but he can't get it to stick. Going back to the front of the field, Pepine's gap on Tom is still about 5 tenths. So no real progress from Tom here, but Pepine is doing as much as he can to keep the gap consistent. As that is Trust Run getting past Woolley on the pit straight. And well, yeah, Trust Run, like you said, he's really taken advantage of that second safety car. As Mendes and Evil are battling, Mendes goes down the inside. And he gets the move done up into 12th now. And that is Marlon actually on the back of Evil now. Evil, red light flashing, you know what that means. No ERS, or less than 10%. Marlon going down the inside, contact between the two. And Evil takes a dive down the inside, nearly pushes Marlon into the wall. And all of this battling is bringing Slow Salt all the way back into it, but SJM with the rocket ship exit gets past Slow Salt and into 15th.
Well, taking a look at Chris in 5th place, 1/10 of the second behind the Red Bull of Leo. Leo has had a better exit. These people are driving like crazy today, as if they don't have a driving's license.
This battle between Evil and Marlon is still going on. Marlon went for another half-height attempt at a dive, and he nearly spun Evil round. There was contact, but luckily Evil managed to stay out of the wall.
Marlon less than a tenth, separating him to Evil. DRS enabled. He's very low on ERS, but he's not gonna try anything. He's defending his place from SJM, and overtaking might make him a bit more vulnerable, so he decided to sit for a second.
Christian goes for oh, sorry about that, but Chris, sorry, went for the dive on Leo, and he got the move done. Still going on. Oh, that's Marlon. Marlon is out of the race, and that is the third safety car.
What a delight.
So now all of these hard runners are going to be able to pit onto the mediums now. So this couldn't have come at a better time for all of these guys. Luckily for them, well, unlucky for Ishake, it's actually going to be, might have to double stack with his teammate Tom. Because now you'd really think it's the time to pit onto mediums. With it probably being about 11 laps, I'd say, to go when the safety car comes out, and Evil has a drive-through penalty. Yeah, and Tom is actually choosing to stay out. Interesting strategy call here from Tom. Aiden decides to stay out. Ishake decides to stay out as well.
For how long?
So, yeah, Wooly as well. So Pepine, Chris, and Leo. Inters.
What?
Inters are going on.
What are these people on? It's not even raining. Are they expecting anything? Do they know something that I don't know?
Maybe it said, maybe on the radio it might have said rain in 5 minutes.
But still, would you run with the intermediates on a dry
Mm,
track?
I mean, it's better than running slick tires on a wet track.
Well, that's definitely yeah.
But yeah, no rain at the moment, so it's very, very early call.
Imagine if it doesn't rain at all. How much we would be laughing at these people.
Usually when it comes over the radio, it's not wrong. But yeah, with the safety car coming out, it must have said 5 minutes till rain or rain imminent for most of the field to make this decision. Gonna have to see what the front runners do because, of course, they're behind the safety car. So it's the complete opposite to what happened to my race. My race yesterday was wet to dry with 10 laps left. Now it's dry to wet with 10 laps left.
Well, we are still curious to know what the top 5 drivers, in addition to Slow Salt, are going to be doing. Slow Salt went to a fresh set of mediums. Still waiting for the others to see.
Tom is in.
Tom going to the pits. A bit too
Aiden's
late.
staying out. Aiden stays out.
What is Tom gonna go on?
So now the
And the
top
rain started.
two.
And the rain started.
Yeah.
It's raining now.
The the provisional top two at the moment is Pepine and Chris.
You can see the few droplets of rain falling from the skies.
And
And it's
Aiden's gonna be kicking himself for not pitting, because now he's gotta go a whole lap, and you've got to think the safety car. If it comes in this lap, Aiden's gonna be finding himself all the way at the back of the field.
well, either way, he's gonna be finding himself in the back of the field.
Oh yeah, you can really see that the rain is coming down quite heavy because it's covering the camera. This is what the rain's like in this part of the world. It can be clear 1 second and then complete downfall in the next.
Just like snakes. So be careful from these people. "13 laps to go. 13 of the decisive laps actually to go. Because it started to rain. And most of the drivers are on the inters except for this man, Aiden.
He's got to be hoping that it stays out for one more lap, because if it doesn't, well, even if he pits now, he's going to be coming out right at the back, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Aiden.
One more lap. And
Aiden.
Aiden has made a big, big mistake by staying out on the hard, because he's what was a very, very good qualifying for him. Starting as high as he did, well, he's going to be right at the back, and the Evil has come in for fresh set of inters, so it is like changing front wing as well. So, provisional little update for this for the race as it stands here Pepine in first with Chris in P2, Joshua in P3, Leo in P4, Michalizzi making up 15 positions to 5th, starting last. So if he can keep this position, it will be great for him. Fusion in P6, Mendez in 7th, Tom moving down 7 positions, the pole man in 8th, Wooly in 9th, Ishake in 10th, then SJM in 11th, Christian in 12th, then Pyro in 13th, Slow Soul in 14th, Aiden, who started 3rd, finds himself in 15th, and Evil, who started in 5th, is all the way down in 16th place. And it will be coming in this lap, so Pepine has done every single safety car restart, and this time it's in the wet, so will we see a similar strategy for the race start from Pepine here? I'll let you do the restart. As yeah, we see Pepine not getting the best of runs, and Chris is really getting a good run on Pepine here, going down the inside, which becomes the outside. In this next corner, will he make a move, stick round the outside, still goes side by side, he's just about ahead, makes it the inside, really squeezes Pepine to the wall, but the inside line for Pepine proves too much, and he stays in the lead here. Pepine has been doing this race to the best of his ability. And he's actually really struggling in these conditions. It might be a dry setup, as Chris is really pushing him. He's right on the back. Michalizzi has dropped behind Mendez now. And this is a great run from Chris. Can he make a move, stick into turn 1? Contact between the two. And once again, contact as Chris pushes Pepine right to the edge of the track, but Pepine stays ahead still. He's been leading since the first corner on the first lap, and with 10 laps to go, including this one, it's looking like the race win isn't signed, sealed and delivered for Pepine. is now looking back. That is actually Ishak, who has retired from this session. Looks like a crush at the hairpin. Is still looking up top. Chris is really pushing Pepine through this final sector here. As the person who's really struggling in these conditions is actually SJM. And Pepine is starting to push this gap on Chris now. Going back across the field. Fusion finds his way past... Well, actually, no, Tom finds his way past Fusion. Tom now up into 7th place, and he's closing in on a struggling Michelizzi here. As now Mendes is getting very close to the back of Leo. 2.5, 3 tenths is the gap. Is now still on board with this battle for first place. Chris is really... Well, Pepine is actually starting to pull away now. As that is Yellows, and that is Slow Salt, who's crashed into in the final sector. Does have front wing damage. Actually, no, he doesn't. So that may have just been a spin.
That's a lucky escape from him.
Yeah, that is actually another safety car.
Oh no, not another one.
So the 4th safety car of this race.
I'm sure our viewers are hating this at the moment.
If this was a 100% race, we might be getting close to the 2-hour mark. Might be getting close to the 2-hour rule.
Sorry, I've been boring myself to sleep because of this race. And you know, you're tired the whole day. You've been working out, showering, working, and then watching 4 safety cars. That is too much for my brain to process. And it's raining now at the moment on the Singapore streets. Not too much for a wet, but not too little for a soft. So the intermediates are the optimal tires, except for Evil. Evil went on the mediums. What kind of evil thing is he trying to do? Is the track drying up?
I'm not too sure. There's interesting strategy call here from Evil. It's still raining at the moment, so it's definitely not going to be drying up anytime soon. And yeah, Evil
lost his front
completely
wing.
broken his front wing.
Yep. Whatever he was cooking, it ruined the dinner. There's gonna have to keep SJM behind him. Take a look at poor SJM trying to overtake him. It's like, just let me go. Just let me go, man. Just let me go, please. It's like you rushing home because you want to go to the toilet, but then you have a Kia Picanto slowing down in front of you. Oh. Evil now is having trouble to control his car. Well, since this is a safety car, ladies and gents, it's Pepine who is leading the race. In second place, Chris, followed by Trust Run. Leo in fourth. So this is the first wing of the Red Bull team, and in fifth place, Mendes, followed by Tom. Fusion in seventh place, Mikulitsi in eighth, followed by Wooly. Pyro in 10th, Aiden in 11th.
I was going to say, it has actually stopped raining.
So the mediums would have been the optimal tire choice if you kept on driving on the dry racing line.
Yeah, SJM has actually pitted in for soft tires now.
Wow. What is bro cooking?
But yeah, it looks like everyone else is going to be staying out. Apart from Fusion.
You know, these are the type of moments where you should take a bet just like buying a lottery ticket. Could be a winning one, could be a losing one, and you losing your money. But you know what they say about lottery tickets? There's a higher percentage of you getting run down by a car on your way to buy the lottery ticket than winning the lottery itself.
Yeah, but someone has to win it, though.
Someone has to win it. And the winner so far is Pepine. Unless Fusion has something up his sleeve. As we are still waiting now for the safety car to return to the pits.
Yeah, we will have to see once the race gets back underway. We'll have to see what the delta is between the dries and the inters. I'm not sure what's happened. I can hear myself.
Oh, apologies. Apologies, I disconnected the microphone. Even the microphone got bored from this race.
Everyone, they're actually staying out. Oh, yeah, people are starting. Oh, Christian. Not sure what happened there. But yeah, everyone else is pitting onto slicks now. And Trust Run is going to be the first person. Well, Actually, no, it's Fusion.
Fusion.
Fusion on the soft.
It's Fusion who took the bet, who took the initiative first.
And he's found himself in a great position here to potentially get a race win.
But he needs to stay on the drying line. Because I can still see some droplets of water on his onboard camera. Can you see it?
Yeah. Yeah, there are some. But the track is looking significantly more dry.
Drier than my ex-girlfriend. But what is going to happen to the top 5 drivers? Those greedy drivers who decided to stay out on the intermediates might be actually the biggest losers. We are talking about Pepine, Chris, Leo, Mikulizzi, and Wooly. As the safety car will be in this lap. They will be significantly slower compared to the soft tire compound.
Yeah, it's going to be really slow in dry conditions. It looks like the track is... Well, I haven't seen a notification to say it's... that DRS is enabled. I haven't seen that yet.
I think Fusion is a controller driver from the way he moves the
Yeah.
steering wheel. Because he's moving a lot. And ladies and gents, we resume racing. It's green flag. It's an excellent start from Fusion, who's gonna have his first overtaking move, and through he goes. But oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, it's definitely ready for dry tires.
He receives a
Track
penalty.
is definitely ready for dries. He might still find himself with a podium here, actually. Oh, that's slow salt. Oh, big dive there from Fusion.
What a move from Fusion. Reminds me a lot of Lewis Hamilton in Interlagos 2020. Oh, one collision between the Aston Martin of Chris and the Williams of Pepine. But Chris needs to let his teammate through because he's slowing him down.
Oh, Massa.
Massa.
The Massa dive.
Fusion is on a
Now
mission,
Chris
huh?
has got to do a big favour.
Yep.
He's got to try and hold up Trust Run as much as he can. As look, that is Fusion going for the move.
And
For the
Fusion-
race lead, nearly hits himself into the wall.
And Fusion is now leading the race. So he needs to gain a 3-second lead in case he wants to actually win the race because of his penalty.
It looks like Trust Run just had the better run out of the final corner than Chris, and he finds himself... Oh, Chris is still in it, though. He had to go off the circuit to keep the position, but yeah, there's Mendes now passed, and the gap is currently 1.6 seconds.
Well, looking at these colors, the colors of the tires, red and green, makes me think it's Christmas.
Definitely, and Pepine didn't make it easy for Trust Run,
And
but
it's raining again! Can you see this? It's raining again!
it is.
Do you remember what I told you?
Wow.
Do you remember what I told you at the
Yeah.
start? That I commentated in an F4 race, and it rained, and then it dried, and then it rained, and then it dried?
This is
Singapore.
bad for the dry tire runners. But if you're gonna be on a dry tire in any in wet conditions, it's gonna be the soft tires. as Mendes goes for the dive on Trust Run. Mendes made contact with Trust Run and put him into the wall. Doesn't look like there's going to be a safety car, as it's going to be too late in this race.
And you can see Fusion struggling already.
Yeah, and
look at his throttle input.
Pepine must be licking his lips at this opportunity now. Because what looked like the wrong decision to stay out, turning into the right decision. And this is why the DRS did not get re-enabled.
Oh!
As look at the understeer from Pyro there.
He went too wide. And
Pyro got a 3-second penalty.
Oh! Spinning.
The teammates nearly colliding there. And Chris is now once again battling for the win with Pepine.
You know...
Oh no, Fusion!
Oh no! No! Mendes got held up behind Fusion!
Oh.
You know what this reminds me of? As if Pepine was playing Mario Kart and he got Rain in a mystery box. Because everything is working in his favor at the moment.
Yeah, Michalizzi.
Mendes, Fusion out.
Oh, Mendes as well. Michalizzi picked up a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, but that may get removed. But as we're going on to the final lap, it is once again Pepine battling with Chris for this race win. It looks like there will be a Red Bull on the podium with Leo, if it stays the way it is.
Take a look at how Aiden is significantly gaining time on Tom. But is he going to be able to overtake him before the end of this lap? Around 1 second per corner.
Ooh.
Oh, and that's the Aston Martin of Chris. And they are squeezing each other. Chris and Pepine. Round the outside line goes Chris. And he's leading the race now, ladies and gents. This is the Alonso of PSGL in his Aston Martin.
But Pepine takes a much better line through that corner and he finds himself momentarily back in the lead as he gets squeezed into the wall by Chris. But he has the inside line here. Contact again. And Chris still has the lead.
Take a look at Aiden. Aiden gaining a lot of time. 14 seconds. He gained 14 seconds on the McLaren of Christian. You can see how unsuitable... Oh, Christian is driving without a front wing as well. And the Ferrari of Pyro into the wall.
And Tom finds his way past him as well.
SJM
and now
going on inters, maybe too late?
Yeah, it's going to be too late. But he may get a final point here, as Evil, who's just passed him, is still on the slick tyres. So maybe it may well be a double points finish, and it will be a double points finish for the AlphaTauris. But the man that we need to be focusing on is GL Chris 22. He overtakes Pepine on the final lap, and he wins here in Singapore. Pepine in P2. Leo in P3. Micheluzzi does finish P4 on track, but Wooly will take P4 after penalties, pending stewards' reviews. And Aiden, who had pitted the lap before for Inters, well, he's found himself in P6.
So SJM managed to overtake Evil after all. and is currently in the 10th place.
Yeah,
in
and
the
that's
second
Tom.
sector.
Tom is trying to get past Christian. Christian driving without
Oh.
front wing. Tom gets past him. And he finishes in 7th. Christian P8. Pyro actually overtakes Christian in P8. SJM on the Inters.
Christian took a different racing line, as if he was leaving Singapore right now.
Now we're waiting for the final 2 drivers.
What a crazy change of events in Singapore.
And yeah, Evil has crashed out.
Oh.
So there will be SJM finishing 10th and the final points paying position.
Last in the points. And Mikulitsi is the driver of the day. I'm on the loading screen now, waiting for the champagne showers in Singapore. You know what's really weird? How I was able to hear fireworks under the rain in Singapore when the race ended. It's as if SpongeBob was using the fire under the sea. Some things are not meant to be working that way. And ladies and gents, champagne showers at Singapore. And it's Chris who wins in Singapore. Second place, Pepine. And third, Leo. Outside of the top 3, we've got Wooly, Mikulitsi. And could you please continue?
Yeah, and then we have Aiden in P6, FER Tom in 7th, Pyro in 8th, Christian in 9th, SJM in 10th. Then we have the non-finishers, ETA Evil, Mendez in 12th, then Fusion, Trust Run, Slow Salt, Ishake, Marlon, GSP Payne, Tybe, and Yano.
Ladies and gents, that was it for tonight's race. It was chaotic. It was a bit boring, but it ended with action. I'd like to thank you very much for staying throughout this whole session, and I hope to see you next week, same place, same time. This is Salim and Danny Quinn kissing you good night.